Hello, everyone. Let me get this all adjusted here. So, welcome to Daily Space. I am Annie Wilson, obviously not Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela Gay is traveling today. Instead, you get me, not a clone. I promise. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about space stuff. Larry Weird and Proud says, the binaries are ablaze with the sounds of science. Yeah, and hopefully today we won't have the sound of dogs. I put the smallest dog in my lap to try to keep her quiet. So hello, Veronica. So today we're going to talk about space news, space update, and space facts. Those are my three things for you today. Space news, space updates, space facts. Alright, so with all of my many windows, I'm glad I finally figured this out. Let's start this thing. Alright, so space news is Space IL. Space IL is an Israeli non-profit, non-governmental, let's just say NGO, non-profit NGO that is launching a lunar lander next month on February 13th, 2019. It is mostly funded by private investors and the Israeli Space Agency. So they started because of the Google Lunar X Prize. So we're going to have to back up a little bit and talk about what the Google Lunar X Prize is. So for starters, the cash prize is no longer a thing. Nobody met the deadline for the cash prize, but still the history of it is kind of interesting. Back in 2007, the challenge called for privately funded teams to be the first to land a robotic spacecraft, that's one, travel 500 meters, that's two, and transmit video and images, both high def, back to Earth, that's three. So three things that teams had to achieve in order to receive, I think it was like a 30 million cash prize. This is a big deal because no privately funded teams had ever done this before. All landings on the moon prior to this have been by government agencies in one form or another. So yeah, huge deal, decent cash prize. Cash prize isn't going to cover all the development and the cost to launch and etc., but it's still kind of a really big deal. Originally, the competition was supposed to end in 2012. It got extended and extended and extended, and the last deadline was March of 2018, and yeah, nobody has launched yet. So, 33 teams registered for the competition. 8 of those are considered finalists. Out of those 8, 6 have contracted launches. And out of those 6, Space IL is the only one with a confirmed launch date. The only one. Out of 33 original teams, the only one with a confirmed launch date. Additionally, this is Israel's first lunar landing mission, making them the... Hey, things happen! Thanks for the follow! Making them the 4th country to successfully land, not crash, crashing is a different matter, on the moon. So, with that, we are going to watch this short little video, if I can get it to play properly. Look at me, all being awkward.
החללית הישראלית הראשונה יוצאת לדרכה. המשימה להגיע להישג אליו הגיעו עד כה רק מעצמות על. הנחתת חללית על הירח. קיים חלון הזדמנויות קצר של כמה שניות לנחיתה על הירח. ההזדמנות הבאה תגיע רק חודש לאחר מכן. בנקודה זו, החללית תצלם את עצמה ותשדר את התמונות לכדור הארץ. בכך תושלם המשימה והחללית תישאר על פני הירח כסמל להצלחה ישראלית. עד כה, רק מעצמות עולמיות בעלות תוכניות חלל בהיקף של מיליארדי דולרים נחתו על הירח. SpaceIL מתכוונת להוכיח לעולם שניתן להגיע לאותו ההישג בתקציב קטן יחסית, וכי חקר החלל נגיש כיום לכולם. SpaceIL בשיתוף התעשייה האווירית בונה חללית חדשנית וחכמה המיישמת את הידע הישראלי הנרחב בתחום הלוויינים בעבור מטרה חדשה, חקר החלל העמוק. ובכך, לתעשיית החלל הישראלית יהיה פוטנציאל עצום להפוך למנוע צמיחה מוביל במשק. ההצלחה של SpaceIL היא מקור לגאווה לאומית.
So yeah, that was the little video, and I apologize that it was entirely in Hebrew, but I believe the graphics were pretty good. So that video showed you how they're essentially going to use, words are hard. They're essentially going to use the Earth to kind of propel themselves further than the moon. They're going to orbit the moon once or twice, land, and then the lander is going to land on the moon and be there for 2 days because it has no cooling capabilities or heating capabilities, and it's probably going to overheat and die, which is a little sad. But there you go. So the latest update with that is that it has been packaged and gotten ready for transport to the US. So we're going to play this little video. And it's mostly music, so I'm going to turn the sound down and talk over it for a bit. So right here they're showing packaging up the lander for transport to the US, where it'll be launched by SpaceX. I do plan on covering that launch, so stay tuned for updates. They have not announced a launch time yet, just a date, and I update my own private launch calendar every day or every other day, so I'll be keeping track of that for you. But it is indeed en route to the US, and just everything they have to do to package this thing to get it ready for shipping, I thought was kind of amazing. Just the team of everybody to do this. So yeah, that is cool. And I'm going to pause now and look for questions. So if you have questions, go ahead and at me. So I'm going to be answering questions right now that are related to SpaceIL, and then we'll move on to our space update. So let me scroll back up. And yes, Susie says our friend Yoav, and I apologize profusely if I slaughtered the pronunciation of your name. But yeah, we have a friend that is part of SpaceIL, and Ambius apparently can translate. Fendering asks, wait, has this landed already, or is it in progress? It has not even launched yet. So trust me, when it launches, you'll know. But they forgot the Chinese. The Chinese flag was actually there in the video. It was, first they showed either the USSR flag or the Russian flag. I'm not sure which. I'm sorry. The US flag, and then they showed the Chinese flag. Why go to all that work and not include temp regulation? That's a very good question, Veronica. And I believe it had to do with weight and cost. I believe the cost of the lander is already twice that of Israel's space agency's yearly budget. But it's still kind of on the cheap side for a spacecraft. I think it's at 90 million. So I don't know. That is a question for people that know way more about this than I do. And DPI says launch was pushed back to February 18th. I have not updated my calendar yet. I will totally do that. So yeah, next month. Excuse me. False alarm. Yeah, we're totally going to stream the heck out of this launch. So, that was our space news. On to our space update. So, in case you missed it, JAXA, Japan's space agency, had a launch last night. It was the fourth time they've used their solid fuel Epsilon rocket. The mission was Innovative Satellite Technology Demonstration 1, which consisted of 7 satellites, all of which successfully separated. They only showed the separation of Rapis 1 during the stream, and after that they're like, sorry, stream's over. So I wanted to give you guys an update on that. So, in case you didn't watch the stream last night, the 7 satellites are the Rapis 1, which has a bunch of different little things from startups and universities and so forth and so on that they're testing. 3 small satellites, the Micro Dragon, Rise Sat, and Ale 1, and 3 CubeSats, Origami Sat. Oh my goodness, I'm going to slaughter this name. Aoba Velox 4 and Nexus. And all of these satellites are essentially testing technology for use in space and gathering data for use in future projects. Except for one. This is AL1, or Astro Live Experiences 1. It's not strictly for science. It's kind of cool, and it will do science-y stuff, but it's not strictly for science. It will be used to generate artificial meteor showers. No joke, artificial meteor showers by ejecting small pellets into the atmosphere, which will burn up over a designated area for the enjoyment of spectators. Just process that for a second. This is a satellite. It is going to generate artificial meteor showers for the enjoyment of spectators. Yeah, this is bizarre. Bizarre. So, AL1 is a prototype intended to demonstrate the concept before larger satellites are launched to offer this service in the future. So, in theory, if you're in Japan, you should be able to go see these artificial meteor showers from this prototype. And if it's successful, they'll be launching a larger satellite to do more of these things. This is bizarre and wild and just... Noel's making the comment that you could probably order them from anywhere on the planet. That is probably true. But I imagine that it will first be launched in Japan. So just mind blown by this. And they totally downplayed all of this. They're like, oh, we're going to launch 7 satellites, which is kind of a big deal for Japan because it's the first time they've launched anything more than a single satellite. Larry has a comment along the line of, I wonder when the first satellite will spell, will you marry me? Veronica makes a comment about, seems like a waste of rocket space. I mean, we already have space tourism. Somebody was going to come up with this idea. I'm kind of excited by the fact that it's not ballistic technology. Like, it's not meant to go and harm other people or spy on people. It's literally meant for the enjoyment of many. But I am a little concerned that it seems a little frivolous, yes, to just have this thing launched up into space for entertainment. But hey, whatever. Somebody paid for it. It's happening. Alright, so I'm going to scroll back up and read all the comments and any questions. And apparently DPI is saying there's a Russian startup called Start Rocket that says it wants to display enormous billboard advertisements in the night sky using arrays of CubeSats. See, the future is already here. All right, so give me a second to scroll up. I don't really have an objection for it being using to fun. It's just mind-blowing. It really, really is. So Silvershot was asking about the Space IL moon landing. Will there be live video recording the moon landing? I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know if there will be cameras. There may not be, with how light and how short the mission is. I imagine there would be. Stormer Joe asks, was this the Israeli company not chosen by NASA for proposals for future launchers and or landers? I don't know. I want to say maybe it was chosen, but I have processed that information and already forgotten. Wikipedia and Google probably have the answer to that. So if somebody wants to pull all that up real quick. And yes, this is totally like fancy fireworks. And Ska has some concerns, or has a comment about concerns that will cause problems with telescopes, like interference. I really don't know the answer to that one either. That's also a very good question. I imagine that there would be a degree of international cooperation to make sure that there isn't problems with this. And scrolling down. Weird and Proud says, I want a space without logos. Want the meteor shower satellites cause issue with telescopes? I'm really not sure. What looks like David says, are we allowed to ask questions about the Space Force, or does the questions need to directly relate to stream content? You can ask. I may or may not answer. Apparently there is going to be a Netflix movie about it, which I'm kind of excited about. So, anyways, moving on. So we had our space news, we had our space update, moving on to our space fact, which has me super excited. So, if you don't know already, my background is in computer science. And this picture makes me happy for a number of reasons. While I was searching today for all the other things, hooray, things happened! While I was searching today, or last night, for space things, I came across the fact, buried deep on the Wikipedia page for the International Space Station, that there are about 115 laptops on the ISS. Pause. Think about that for a second. 115 laptops. Alright, so, for those of you that are curious, most of them, in fact, all of them are off-the-shelf purchases, and they have had some modifications done to essentially accommodate for their use in space. Some of these modifications include additional forced mechanical ventilation to get the hot air away from the computers, because the air, for whatever reason, does not rise away from the laptops, and heat and computer components are bad, etc., etc., etc. Guido says most of them are ThinkPads. Yes, thank you, because I totally forgot the number of ThinkPads, but I think at least 100 of these are indeed ThinkPads. So yeah, they're off-the-shelf purchases. They've been modified, so you have the forced mechanical additional ventilation, and you also have some things done with the power so they can work with the space station's 28-volt DC power system. For comparison, cars use a 12-volt DC battery. I don't know exactly what accommodations had to be made for power, but just the fact that it's more than 2 car batteries, obviously they had to do something. So, B. Ska asks, how many people occupy the space station max? 6. Alright, so, covered that. Also, since May 2013, the operating system used for key space station functions is the Debian Linux distro. They have used, I want to say Windows 95 through Windows 10, but it might be Windows 97 through Windows 10. But yeah, the space station totally runs off of Linux, which it was kind of awesome. They do have the other Windows environments running, but those aren't the ones doing like the super, super important things. Let's see, do I have other notes? Oh yeah. And also, in addition to all of this other computer craziness on the space station, they have Wi-Fi. They have a wireless LAN for use on the station. And they also have a couple connections, which I think one was a KMU band? I don't remember the specifics. Trust me, it's on the Wikipedia page. But their connection to the ground is comparable to home DSL speeds. So, yeah, they have Wi-Fi. And they have internet. And this just kind of blows my mind. Just all of this was just like more so than the artificial meteor showers, because I'm like, whoa, this is really, really, really cool. B. Scott says, I wonder what the Wi-Fi name is. ISSnet. I don't know. And I really, really, really want to know the name of the network now. And I am slightly tempted to tweet at some of the astronauts just to find out the name of the network. But yeah, like I had known that they had been on Twitter and that they had posted pictures and stuff, but I didn't know the exact nature of the speed that they had. And I remember the Canadian astronaut whose name escapes me doing like live video concert, and it's Hadfield. Yes, thank you, Hadfield. And like I know they do live broadcasts and things like that, but you don't really think about the specifics unless something stops working, or you just occasionally do a deep dive into the Wikipedia, because Wikipedia makes me happy. So enough with that video, or enough of that picture. I'm going to scroll back up and read your questions and comments. Susie Murph says, and recently an astronaut accidentally called 911 on his cell phone. Yeah. I heard that on Wait, Don't Tell Me. I'm gonna scroll up. B. Scott did the math for us. Approximately 20 laptops per capita. Silver Shot says max has been 13 or so with shuttle visit. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Trucker Kev makes a comment about, can you imagine ISS bandwidth totally taken up by Windows updates? Oh yeah, I could imagine, and that may have been why they switched to Linux. Oh my goodness. Some of the Wi-Fi names are hilarious. Skynet, Out of This World Net, HAL. Veronica's saying it's probably in Russian. Guido's comment about being off the Earth doesn't mean being off the grid, which is very true. Domination time. Hi! I normally start at 1 and I go for about 15 minutes, but we're just gonna go until I'm done, because I don't get to do daily space for that reason. Or for that long, for very long. Bleh. I don't get to do daily space very often. Because reasons. All right. I'm still scrolling through chat. Yeah, I don't usually have a set, I don't have a set end time, even for launches and stuff. The only time I have a set end time is when I'm doing my office hours on Science Sunday! And even that's kind of a soft end time. So, alright. So, any more questions, go ahead and at me or pop them up in chat. I will do my best to answer them. And because the dog has been so good and quiet, hi baby, I'm gonna move you. Come on. I don't usually have, I have doggy cam for launches and when I'm doing my office hours. But I don't have doggy cam for daily space. And this is Tinkerbell. Yeah. This is the smallest doggo. She is also the loudest doggo. And to get her to be quiet today, I put her in my lap. She likes being in my lap. So I'm going to cover her back up with the blanket. All right. So, housekeeping news in other things. Housekeeping news. Yes, Ed, she is a dachshund. She's a cross between a mini and a standard, so she's a really long mini dachshund. Housekeeping news. Universe Sandbox codes should be in your inbox. If they are not, please send me a private message and we will figure out what the problem is. If you won Steam codes for the Hangoutathon, you should have them all. If there was a problem, please DM me or reply to the email that I sent you and we'll get it sorted. And if you are expecting physical things to come in the mail from the Hangoutathon, anything that came from Null, you won't have Universe Sandbox code. Unless you won one. If you're waiting for physical things from the Hangoutathon, anything that came from Nancy's house should be shipped. Anything that comes from Ward Beecher Planetarium, so if you want a Ward Beecher Planetarium mug, that will be shipped next week when I finally go back into the office. I haven't been into the office in well over 2 weeks. And anything that was boxed up at Pamela's house, which is most of the things, will be sent out soonish. I know they are boxed. I know they are sitting in Dr. Pamela's kitchen, and I know the next step was getting them to the shipper and that there is money to get them shipped. So I don't know if that happened before she traveled or if that's going to happen on Monday. So, yes, things are coming to you shortly. Larry Weird and Proud asks, oh, and everything from Susie's is shipped. Thank you. Larry Weird and Proud asks, at CosmoQuest, are you shut down? So, yes and no. My situation is totally separate from the government shutdown. So, as many of you know, our NASA funding got cut. And that NASA funding chunk for CosmoQuest funded me at the Ward Beecher Planetarium, as well as me streaming from here. So, we had our, yes, DPI says cut by 100%. Yeah, it got zeroed out. So, yeah, that was paying for my work at the planetarium, and that was paying for my work for streaming. So we had a hangout-a-thon, and we raised over $35,000, which is about 3.5 months of super part-time pay for many people on the team. I know it's about 3.5 months of half-time or part-time pay. Hey, you were doing so well. I know, you're not happy about it either. So in my case, I have really, really. Puck has strong opinions on this. Out. There, that should keep him quiet for a little while. I apologize for that. Hey, thanks for the follow. So yeah, I have. Are you done? Can I continue? So that was, I think, the FedEx dude, and they knock on my door, which drives the dogs bonkers. Anyway, yeah, I have funding for about 3 months of super part-time work, and the planetarium, and the planetarium scrounged up some funding. So between the planetarium and CosmoQuest, I have just under 180 man hours of paid work. So, and that's for essentially this semester, so until May or June-ish. And then after that, I don't know what happens. Thanks for the bits. And Puck totally is eating Cheerios, and I emptied Cheerios. I don't have anything more to throw at them. I am poorly prepared for today. So that's what's going on with my funding situation, is that, you know, I'm part-time. You're not going to see a whole bunch of me. There's not going to be a whole lot of streaming happening simply because it costs money to put all this on. So I'm extremely grateful to all of you that donated. It is going to allow me to continue doing my office hours. It is going to allow me to continue doing launches and do the occasional daily space, but anything beyond that probably isn't going to happen until we get more funding. So, fortunately, thanks for the bits, Kev. So, fortunately and unfortunately, this is not affected by the shutdown. So, the other issue with my office right now at work is that I share an office with the undergrad astronomy lab, essentially, their computer lab. And the room is kind of divided in half, which is why when I do stream from the university, you can't see computers behind me. It looks like a wall. It's because they were very clever. Hey! Thanks for the bits! It's because they very cleverly divided up the room to make it multi-purpose. So there are a bunch of astronomy... Fenring! There are a bunch of astronomy undergrads right now, and they need the computer lab to do whatever it is they do for their upperclassmen projects, which I believe they're still using PyRAF and IRAF, and they need to transition to using things that are not IRAF and PyRAF. But because they were cleaning out all of that for this upcoming semester, I guess they moved all of the stuff around the wall and put it on, like, essentially my half of the room. And, yeah, I haven't seen the disaster area, but I've been told it's a disaster area, and the battery in my UPS went out, my uninterrupted power supply, so my workstation is not operating, and the network hard drive backup is down. So even if I wanted to go to work to do work things, I can't do work things. So when I go in next week, I'm going to focus on mailing things and distributing swag from AAS to the undergrads and catching up with people, because I haven't seen, some of my colleagues, coworkers, people in the department for some of them for well over a month. Paranor is asking me to explain Pyraf, IRAF. They are IRAF, or Pyraf is an updated version of IRAF. And Pyraf uses Python. IRAF is really old and clunky, and you can do astronomy related things in there, like astrometry? Not astronomy, but like measuring things in astronomy space. Yes, thank you for the link, DPI. And IRAF is not extremely user-friendly, and it really only runs on Linux, and etc, etc, etc. So they're switching everything over to, I want to call it AstroPi, and I'm probably wrong, but Space Telescope is essentially wanting everybody to switch from Pyraf, IRAF, to this new Python-based thing that runs on all the platforms, so it should make everybody's lives, including my own, easier. David asks, does CQ have an EU counterpart? No, we do not. We're kind of unique. If there is somebody doing similar things in the EU, that's really cool. Good for them. Citizen science is literally everywhere. We do try to be very global. I do cover some ESA launches. And to be honest, the launches that I do cover are ones that don't interfere with other scheduled network broadcasts, like weekly space hangout broadcasts or office hours or things like that, and also at a reasonable time of day, meaning if it's before 8 a.m., it better be a freaking spectacular launch for me to get up and set up and moving, because I am not a morning person. And yes, Dr. Pamela was at the dawn of Galaxy Zoo, and now all of that is Zooniverse? I want to say it's Zooniverse. So yeah. Speaking of citizen science projects and CosmoQuest, we should be getting the citizen science on CosmoQuest back up soon. It's been down for the site redesign. I have zero idea of what's happening with that other than it's chaos. So, if you've really been wanting to circle craters, and I really hope you do want to circle craters because it is super important, hashtag save the rovers, please hold on. We'll get there. It's been an experience. We're redesigning the site to make it better and hopefully easier to use, etc, etc, etc. So, right now, don't go circling craters, because there are no craters to circle on the user-facing end. Everything's on the back end. It will be chaos, and it will be beautiful when it's done. Everything is being redone. If you are subscribed on AstronomyCast, all those archived podcasts have been moved to a new server, so your podcasting app may freak out and say, hey, there's like 200 new episodes. No, it's lying. It's lying. There are no 200 new episodes. Everything's just been moved. Am I forgetting anything? Will there be series? I don't know if there will be series. I know there will be Bennu, because we are going to find a spot for Osiris Rex to pick up some rocks to bring home. So I don't know if there will be series. I think that's everything. I really do. I'm not sure when Pamela comes back. I think she'll be back for Monday Daily Space. Paranor saying, something to note with CQ, the OSIRIS-REx mission is using CQ-developed software for its landing selection, and CQ will be working with OSIRIS-REx data. Yes, we totally will be. Also, the OSIRIS-REx mission, humongous, awesome, big heart to them, because they are essentially funding our servers for, I think, at least a year. So, yes, people and humans are awesome, and a lot of people are pitching in to make sure we can keep going and doing science. So, yeah, humans, you're all awesome. All right, so Dr. Pamela should be back Monday for Daily Space. I will be doing my office hours on Sunday, where I will be starting a new object, and we're going to, hey, thanks for the follow, Wrath, and we're going to go through the catalog, and if you have objects that you'd like to watch me colorize, go ahead and suggest them in the Discord. Tag me when you suggest them so I see it. We may or may not make a new channel for that. I'll have to talk to Tanner about that. But yeah, on Sunday, we're going to look for new objects to colorize. Veronica says, isn't Monday a holiday? I have no idea of anything. I know what state, city, and time zone I'm in, and that I'm at home. Time has no meaning beyond that. Monday might be a holiday. We still stream on holidays sometimes. We don't stream on Saturdays. Also, because of Favorite Human's work, he doesn't typically get holidays off. What else? There's totally an eclipse viewable in North America if it's not cloudy Sunday evening. And yeah, I think that's all the things. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, come try to check the live stream. If you missed this, if you ever miss an episode, hi Tinker, you can watch it on YouTube. 'Cause we're magic, and Susie and Nancy are awesome. And with that, I think that's everything. And I will see you all on Sunday, where we will look at some space stuff. And then go into the process of colorizing and processing and colorizing. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in, joining me. Very Weird and Proud says, scat us out, Annie. Annie needs to find all the things. Annie's never ready for the credits, ever. Oh, look, there's the credits. Thanks. Scroll up. So, yeah, this has been a production in association with Planetary Science Institute, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. Woo! PSI is a private, non-profit corporation dedicated to solar system exploration. It is headquartered in Tucson, Arizona, where it was founded in 1972, and also warm and sunny. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for your questions. I will see you all soon. And, yeah, thanks for being freaking awesome. And here we go. Hey, there's credits music. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da. Where's the credits? Roll the credits. Rolling credits. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I can't hear the music. Thank you all, wonderful humans. Bye.